After the Showtime era of the Magic Johnson-led Lakers, and before the time when Shaq and Kobe ruled the NBA, the Lakers were a team desperately trying to contend, yet very few remember them due to their inability to win a championship. The face of this Lakers team during the mid-1990s was none other than Nick the Quick Van Exel. The 6'1" point guard was drafted in 1993 by the Lakers in the second round with the 37th overall pick, and is one of the more underrated weapons within Lakers history. Being a second-round draft pick, Van Exel obviously didn't have the highest expectations coming into the league. With that being said, in reality, he obviously had some major shoes to fill, as he was set up to be the point guard of the future by a franchise who had just recently had success with the legendary Magic Johnson. He became the leader of a pretty talented Lakers squad that included pieces like Cedric Ceballos, Eddie Jones, Eldon Campbell, and Vlade Divac. With Van Exel at the helm, this group won as many as 53 games and made it as far as the Western Conference semifinals. But as we all know, that's not enough to be immortalized in Lakers lore. Van Exel was very much a dual threat, as he could score in bunches, but he was also a pretty solid facilitator, and would always provide plenty of highlights regardless of which aspect he focused on. A couple examples of this was when he dropped an efficient 40 points against the Sonics in 1995, and when he dished out a remarkable 23 assists against the Grizzlies in 1997, which is still the highest assist total in Lakers history by anyone not named Magic Johnson. He was also one of the elite ball handlers of his era, as he had nearly everything in his bag of tricks, including a devastating hesitation dribble and one of the greatest crossover dribbles that the league has ever seen. When people talk about the all-time great ball handlers, they usually discuss guys like Allen Iverson, Jamal Crawford, and Kyrie Irving. And honestly, I believe that Van Exel should be in that conversation as well, or at the very least, just a tier below those other guys. Today's video is brought to you by Skillshare. You may know Skillshare for classes in photography, film, and video editing and illustration. But did you know Skillshare has hundreds of career-focused classes too? The new year is a perfect time to reinvent your goals and yourself. Thinking about our future can be intimidating. Let's take the pressure off by starting small. Maybe you want to learn more productivity tips to power more me time. Maybe the goal is to start building a personal brand style. Skillshare teachers will take us step by step. As a YouTuber, it's critical that I constantly learn new skills and find new ways to improve my brand, which are ways Skillshare can help, as they have classes for things like video editing, project managing, portfolio building, and so much more. One of my favorite classes is about DIY video production for content creators. It teaches you everything from setting up to editing. The first 1,000 people to use my link in the pinned comment will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Now is the time to strive for your dreams and goals. So let's get started with a link in the description and in the pinned comment. Van Exel was electrifying as he penetrated the lane and attacked the basket. He had a stunning layup package and was an all-around remarkable finisher at the rim. Nick wasn't just great around the rim, but from the perimeter as well, as he's one of the all-time great three-point shooters and is currently in the 43rd spot for the most three-pointers made in NBA history. He wasn't just great at standstill jumpers or catch-and-shoot jumpers, but he was insanely efficient at hitting deep jumpers while off balance, including fall-away jumpers and ridiculous spinning three-pointers. He was also a remarkable shooter off of 1 foot, whether it be from the mid-range or even from three-point distance and beyond. All of these skills that I've mentioned of his are impressive, but I'm still yet to mention the most incredible and memorable aspect of his legacy. When you talk about the most clutch players in Lakers history, like Kobe Bryant, Jerry West, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, or Robert Horry, it would be a crime to not include Nick Van Exel in that group, as I truly believe that he was one of the most clutch shot makers that the game has ever seen, and anyone who was actually watching basketball in the mid-90s can testify to this. A big reason why Van Exel has so many clutch game winners and buzzer beaters is because of his great sense of concentration and because of his extreme body control, as he was never too off balance to bury a shot. Making as many clutch shots as he did is impressive enough in itself, but the degree of difficulty in many of those shots is what will always stick out in my memory. Unfortunately, in the days he played, the NBA didn't track many clutch stats like they do today. But you can simply tell from the compilation of game winners that I've been showing throughout that the guy is certainly up there for the most clutch fourth quarter baskets. Although most of these timely baskets came in his days in Los Angeles, there were still many others in his time with the Denver Nuggets and eventually the Dallas Mavericks. Now, to be clear, Van Exel wasn't considered as a superstar when he played in the NBA, but really as a star at best, as he made only one All-Star team in the 1997-98 season. He was also never considered as an elite defensive player, as larger point guards often took advantage of his smaller frame. Although he was never among the NBA's league leaders in scoring, it doesn't change the fact that he's one of the most offensively skilled players that the game has seen, and that he had a clutch gene greater than 99% of the competitors who've played in this league. At his peak, he was a near 20 points per game scorer and averaged nearly double-digit assists. Seeing how his game relied heavily upon his quickness and athleticism, he didn't end up having a very long basketball career. Injuries to his knees and elbows played a part as well, and by the time he was 34 years old, he had played his final game in the NBA. He never won a championship, which plays a part in why he's rarely talked about, and it's unfortunate that he was traded from the Lakers for Tony Battie in 1998, because the Shaq and Kobe Lakers often struggled to provide solid production from the point guard position, and Van Exel was a player who seemed to complement Shaquille O'Neal quite well in the couple seasons they actually played together. The Lakers were very stacked with guards at that time, with guys like an emerging Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, and Eddie Jones. So with that many ball handlers and scorers, the Lakers may have seen that as a legitimate reason to part ways with Van Exel, in order to create more opportunities for their young stars. Plus, Van Exel did have some chemistry issues with the strong personalities in LA. The biggest issue came in the 1997-98 NBA season. The Lakers finished that regular season with a 61-21 record, and the team had championship aspirations. All four of the Lakers stars, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Eddie Jones, and Nick Van Exel, made the NBA's All-Star team, and only a handful of teams have ever achieved 4 selections in the same season. The thing is, when the Lakers got to the Western Conference Finals against the Utah Jazz, things were not going nearly as well as they had hoped. The Lakers lost the first game in Utah by a whopping 45 points. They went on to lose games 2 and 3 as well by close deficits. Although many of the Lakers played poorly, Van Exel didn't do much to help, as he shot 1 of 9 in Game 1, 4 of 12 in Game 2, and 2 of 13 in Game 3. Facing a 3-0 deficit, the Lakers had to fight with everything they had in order to keep their finals hopes alive, but one player wasn't very optimistic. At the end of the Lakers' practice before Game 4, nearly every player huddled up, put their hands in the middle, and in unison said 1, 2, 3, team, which they had done throughout the entirety of the season. The thing is, that's not what Van Exel said. In a jokingly manner, he stated 1, 2, 3, Cancun, implying that the Lakers were on their way to a vacation in Cancun after being eliminated. According to Jeff Pearlman's book 3 Ring Circus, the gym went dead quiet. Kobe Bryant looked at his teammate as if he had just spoiled milk. Rick Fox was equally disgusted, whispering, "Can you believe this expletive?" Even Eddie Jones, Van Exel's friend, was taken aback. "What the hell was that about?" he asked. O'Neal went directly to General Manager Jerry West's office to tell him of the incident, to which the veteran executive said bluntly, "After this all ends, Nick is done here." With that story in perspective, it really seems like there was no way of mending the relationship between Van Exel and the Lakers, seeing how the team was made up of fierce competitors and Nick basically just quit on the group. Regardless, the exchange for Tony Battie and Tyronn Lue for Nick Van Exel is certainly one of the worst trades in Lakers history, at least in terms of talent. Ultimately, it's not like the Lakers organization should have a statue made of him outside of Crypto.com arena. But at the same time, many Lakers fans and NBA fans act like basketball didn't exist in Los Angeles between the Showtime era and the Shaq and Kobe era. But I'm here to tell you that it was actually a very memorable era, filled with many highlights and many late-game heroics, thanks first and foremost to this man, the most clutch Laker that no one talks about. So what do you guys think? What are some other clutch players that people rarely talk about? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.